Hi there.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday, as we like to say. Here we are for our weekly discussion. Um, and I'm
Certainly
sorry,
hope it's a happy Wednesday for everybody because it's almost over already.
I know, just amazing.
Good.
So we are Dave and Laura Butler of Work Life Consulting, and we provide executive coaching, team building support for individuals within those teams and the teams that support the organization. So today's discussion is going to be one of our favorite. I mean, each week it seems like we say it's one of our favorite. They're
Everything
all
is
our
favorite.
favorite.
We love everything.
Yeah, we do. Not really, but we do. So this one is the importance of that balance of emotional and physical resilience, because I think the push to succeed, that physical resilience, that physical strength, gets sort of shadows the emotional side.
Mhm.
And the emotional side is what we've seen in any of the coaching work, at least I'll speak for myself, the coaching
Mhm.
work that I do is in order to have that physical resilience, you need the emotional topping that goes along with it.
Well, I think the thing that stands out for me is how many people I work with that are just seem to be at loose ends all the time. I mean, they're burning the candle at both ends, whatever way you want to describe it. But it seems like and we've been doing this a long time, so it's one thing if I say this is the worst I've ever seen in the last couple of years, maybe with the pandemic and the supply chain problems. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it just seems like everybody is sort of at wit's end, feeling burned out and overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And so if we go back to, I will hide this until we're ready for it, but it was not there in my access. So, always fun, up and down, with, with technology. But if we go back to the title, the reason we are choosing this title is that it's the essence of our upcoming master class, if you will, group class program. That is the foundation of the work that we do, which is emotional mastery, and altogether, it's the key to your leadership impact. I mean, we want to have that leadership impact, but it seems like the impact means I've got to go, go, go. I've got to be physically, powerful or whatever we tell ourselves.
Or on the other side of it, I work really hard on trying to not get caught up in my stress behavior, take care of myself, and show up, a little more balanced and a little steady. But I'm so physically wasted that I can't really do much with it because I fall asleep at the desk. I remember that book. There's a book by Ariana Huffington there a few years back called Thrive. That she talks about how she woke up in the middle of the evening with laying on her desk with blood all over the place because she had fallen asleep and fallen over and smashed her face.
Yeah. Yeah. So we think that we're doing okay until we're not.
Yeah, it seems like we push till we get to the edge, and then we fall off the edge. That's the first time we start thinking about it.
Right, right. But thank you for those of you who are joining us live, and thank you for those of you who are listening to the recording, because this topic, especially now, I think is more prevalent. We hear the need. I mean, I can't believe the stories that I hear, I'm sure you hear too, of people that just are surprised at what they do, that, that they would never have done before. So I think and it's reactionary basically is what it is. And if
Mhm.
we don't step back, and one of the meditations that we've been doing recently was talking about letting go of control,
Mhm.
and just accept the fact that the control will be there, and the best way to control is to let it go, is
And
to.
most of the control is illusionary, is an illusion anyway.
Yeah.
We just kind of make ourselves believe we have some control when we really don't.
So let's go back to the slide, which is, just one of my favorites. We
Absolutely.
we can have this conversation about being emotional and physically um, resilient,
Hmm.
but it all starts with, guess who? Ourselves.
Yeah, no, knowing myself sounds like a a cute adage, but it takes an awful lot of work to really get to know yourself and your needs, both physical and emotional. And being able to manage those requires that you know what they are.
Right.
Sometimes we don't even know what they are until we're fully stressed and overwhelmed, and then I say, "Oh, I guess I needed some rest."
Well, talk about this, where this all came from. Good old Socrates.
I'd love to. The story goes, Plato tells the story that Socrates went to the temple of Apollo at Delphi. It's where the Delphic oracle supposedly resided. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's a sort of the wise person of the age that you can go and ask all kinds of questions of, and you get this sort of answer for the rest of your life. But as you walked in the doorway to the temple, Socrates said that he looked up and noticed that in the lintel stone over the doorway, it said, "Know thyself." Because the idea was, before you go in and ask questions of the oracle, you better know who you are and what you want to ask, because you may not find out, you may not like what you hear.
Well, the other piece I love is everybody thought that they'd go and talk with Socrates, and Socrates would give him all the answers. Do this, do this, do this. And Socrates' mode was to continue to ask questions.
Right. He never made a statement. That's all he did was ask questions.
Yeah, just ask questions. So funny that in today's world, one of our favorite books is Hal Gregerson, Questions Are the Answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's gone back, this is several years.
Well, this is, 2500 BC at least.
That the human condition has required this.
It still does.
Move on to discussing, our topic today. This is another piece of our, favorite models. And this actually is the evolution of an author, one of our favorite writers, Tony Schwartz. And it came from, he has an actual organization that is the Energy Project, because the concept is managing, as opposed to managing time and putting that management in a little box. This concept is you manage the energy, and it's unique to you. So know thyself. As we've talked about in other live streams, we've talked about what is it that you need, what's your motivator. And you take a look at, what you love here in this slide is the rituals that are unique.
Right.
And he calls them capacities.
Yeah, and rituals could be anything that we do on a constant basis, but we get used to it. You mentioned the meditation we've been doing in the morning. Well, that's a ritual. Our time together is just to be quiet and listen to the birds and listen to the Calm app or whatever you want to use. That's an opportunity not only for a physical ritual for us to get some sort of focus for the day, but also our emotional capacity is affected by that, because we give ourselves a chance to just slow down and catch up. And you could probably say mental capacity as well, because you're working on your mantra or whatever you're listening to in your meditation, and ultimately your spiritual capacity. So it's funny, like one thing like meditation is a ritual that could serve all four capacities.
Right. Well, I love the all four, and it all ties together. And we did a workshop one time using this model, and I remember one of the participants asked a question, and she said, would a ritual be the daily habit of walking my dog?
Sure.
And we said, boy, that's a perfect example. But these four in the spiritual capacity is more about what's your purpose, what's your why, what drives you. What is these four are, the foundational and move up and on purpose. I mean, this is designed this way. And then we have some, the way that you can create the capacity it usually is some sort of a habit, that becomes like this meditation that we've been doing. It's a habit. I really look forward to it. And I never used to I thought I'd have to get started with my day, get that physical stuff going, get going, busy, busy, busy. And it's so much better does it mean that I don't have any stress of the day or that things don't drive me crazy? Of course not. But it just slows me down a little bit and appreciate that I've got this opportunity for the day ahead. and certainly the needs and preferences, as we just said. And it doesn't mean all day. It could be 10 or 15 minutes that you design for yourself what that looks like. And these are further definitions of each of the capacities. It's hard to see on that pyramid. So, the physical helps you adapt to other areas, such as working out, such as, being with other people in some sort of engagement. The emotional ties together as well with interpersonal relations. And it certainly ties into the confidence that you may have, how that self-esteem comes across. And then how would you describe mental and spiritual beyond what we
I think mental, as it says here, is a composite of several things. Because it's just the act of being curious, developing curiosity rather than judgment is something that takes mental energy. And as you're curious and you find out new ways to do things, you find new solutions, you build your self-awareness, your time management skills, all of those things are part of being able to comprehend and be able to think clearly. Ultimately, that spiritual capacity and spiritual energy, as you said, is based on our why. Do I feel like I'm doing something that's valuable? Do I feel like I'm what my calling is? I have a sense of purpose. That I have a sense of meaning in my life.
Exactly. And so as we think about how do we kind of move beyond this and get it embedded into our lives. One of the things leading up to the launch of our emotional mastery program is that we are going to offer a webinar on Wednesday the 17th. And what we want to cover here is the 3 steps for increasing your leadership impact. And certainly one of the steps is to go back and take a look at Jim Collins' work, for example, on level 5 leadership. There's nowhere in that highest level of leadership does he say, you've got to run like crazy.
Work yourself to death.
Yeah. It's a combined effort of determination, resolve with humility. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where these concepts can certainly, be grasped. And this is our link to the webinar. So what you can do is you can copy this down or take a look when we get this ready to go in our website.
Yeah, we'll get it on our website, and there'll be something you can click and easily register for the webinar.
Right. But, so this will be at noon on Wednesday the 17th in Eastern Time. And we'd love to have you participate. And for those of you who are listening live, thank you. And those of you on the recording, we are Dave and Laura Butler of Work Life Consulting. And we offer executive coaching for individuals, teams, and organizations. And one of our favorite topics is the one we're talking about today. So thank you for listening. Please add any comments or questions you may have along the way. Join us. And we would like to close, as we do each week, with We're in It Together by our good friend Elliot Lewis. Check out his website here. And we'll see you next week for more topics, more discussion. I'm not sure if next week, if we're doing the webinar, if we're also going to do a live stream, but we might. You never know.
Maybe we'll just keep going.
Yeah, we may feel like it. So thanks for listening. See you next time.